I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Today we are going to debate. Before I'm going to debate, first of all, let me introduce my team. My name is Rania Zakira as the first speaker of affirmative team. Here I will give you the definition of our motion today, limitation, the line, parameter, and also we will give you some argument. The second speaker will be delivered by Mrs. Shifa Uzura. She will explain you our argument, which is included by the evidence and support by the fact in reality life. For the third one is Mrs. Ulkia. She will elaborate our debate today. Our motion today is this house believes that the government should not obligate airplane passengers to be fully vaccinated if they are able to show a valid 24 hours PCR test. Everyone, based on our motion today, I will give you the deadline that every passenger of every society in Indonesia who are want to fly to another country must able to show their PCR test valid 24 hours in before flight to another country. Therefore, I will also give you the parameter for our motion today. Our parameter is we just talk in Indonesia. As the first speaker will be talking in healthy side, the second speaker will be talking in healthy and social side, and the third speaker will be talking in the elaborate our debate today. Everyone, now I would like to give the definition for our motion today. I just take some keyword like the government. Government is a group or of a group or a community which is managing a system, a government in our country or in a state. And then PCR is polymerase chain reaction, and able to show that means everyone, every society who are want to fly to another country must to show to the examiner that they have been following the test PCR 24 hours and it's valid and exclusive to use. Why this motion is raised up, ladies and gentlemen? This motion is raised up because, as we know together, at the present time, the coronavirus has been a greatest topic to discuss in our nation, Indonesia. It has been hot issue to the debate in our nation, Indonesia. Every element, that is government until society, that has been confused about this problem because they have difficult to solve this problem. So the government think and make a regulation like a policy fiscal or a relation fiscal to decrease the number of coronavirus in our nation, Indonesia. Therefore, by making a regulation, one regulation like take a step in a flight side, make every society who are on flight to abroad must able to show their PCR test 24 hours that must valid. Why this is a good way? Why PCR is a good way or a good step or a good policy taken by government to the proof that every society not contaminated by coronavirus? Because PCR test is valid. It's so valid than vaccination or such many other. One of our goals today is to decrease the spreading coronavirus in our nation, the spreading of number coronavirus in our nation. And for the second one is to prevent certificate forgery, because that was been a hot issue in every element of society in our nation. Next, I will also move to my point today. I will give you the point as the first speaker will be told in healthy side. For the first one is PCR is a good and a sure test that every society not contaminated by coronavirus. Because as we know, instruction from the Minister of Home Affairs number 55 of 2020 into 1st of November until 24th of November that say every people, every society, every element who are on a flight to abroad should and must, not only should but must have PCR test to fly and to prove they are not contaminated by coronavirus. Therefore, we also this instruction proof and support by Minister of Translation in Indonesia Tito Karnavian and Budi Karya Sumadi that say in Article and Amendment 53, number 22, 2021, that say every people who are want take a journey to abroad must have PCR test as a valid test to prove and to guarantee they are not contaminated by coronavirus. There have been a good regulation that's taken by the government for us. So, I, as the affirmative team, the clash is this host belief that the passenger and every society who are take a journey to abroad and anyone must have PCR test as a valid test in our nation, because PCR test is a valid and exclusive way and a good step taken by government to decrease the coronavirus and also prevent certificate for GC. We as affirmative team really strongly believe that government should not obligate airplane passenger to fully vaccinate if they are able to show valid 24 hours PCR test. Thank you. Just this for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. As a second speaker, my name is Jeumala Amal. Before going to my point, I want to state that I strongly believe this motion. Our motion today is this host belief that the government should not obligate airplane passengers to be fully vaccinated if they are able to show a valid 24 hours PCR test result. So I from affirmative team that strongly believe with this motion. Okay, let's begin to my point. For the first point is the PCR test has ensured the health of people. So when we take the PCR test, it can ensure our healthy at this situation. We can know our was what have reported good or not about our healthy. So we take the test PCR and it's accurate at 24 hours. It's so valid for us. When we want to get there to other abroad, we can show our test PCR. So based on the data at okzot.com, like Dr. Irham Shah said, that about the average about 76 until 100% or maybe or more than 100% can be a valid test for us. So that's why when we take the PCR test, we can believe that our healthy is good for us. Don't have vaccine is not a wrong indication. Why? When before we have to contaminate it with vaccine, but in that time we have to vaccinate it, it's more useless for us because at the before we have to contaminate it and we gather to airplane at that situation we get to contaminate it other people. So that's why the effective way to prevent that situation is we can take the test PCR at 24 hours. Its test PCR is supported by our country. It has stated in a circular letter about number 16, period 20 and 21. It states that the decisions of journey to other abroad has to show the test PCR. When we're talking about the vaccinated, so we know that the background of vaccinated in that situation because it shows about the virus, and in before time we don't have a step that like called by test PCR. So in these situations we need the test that called by test PCR, so that the accurate step to us to know our body, and when we get a healthy body we can get it out by the airplane. So let's move to the second point is vaccinated are a hard step to take and to continue our journey by the airplane. When we take the vaccinated, we should more to visit it hospital to other hospital, and it has spend more time for us to continue our vacations to abroad. So when we take the test PCR, it's more easy step. When we take the vaccinated, how about many people in large environment like working at the office, ministry at this country, that can make our nationality is more needed for them. But about many tourists or people who want together abroad, it's only to take and must to take about the test PCR because it has stayed in the data we have here in television, radio, and newspaper. In this situation, many more people, in average about 60%, it's take about test PCR. So that's why I have to prove in our community by social side. We can know that when the large of community in other environment, it's like a medicine. We cannot take the medis is more needed vaccinated than tourists because a medis has to face the many environment that has contaminated the virus. When the tourists or other people want to go to abroad, we only know that our healthy good or not. It's about effective way to continue our vacation to other country. Because like a circular letter about number 56 period 20 and 21 that say that PCR is an accurate step to take our healthy that is good or it was contaminated with other illness. When we have to contaminate it with other illness, it's like cancer, tumor or anyone and so on. It's when we take the vaccinated, it can be broader our healthy. So when it can be our brother or healthy, we can contaminate other people. Also, we have to vaccinate it before. So that's why the effective way to avoid this hard step is to take test PCR. And we have proof that test PCR has many happened in other village or in other city. It's called by Jawa, Sumatra, until Kalimantan. It has taken the test PCR step to go abroad by the airplane. Because in the airport, the airplane have take off and before that should show something that have to assure us about our body. It's good or not for us. When we take the good and positive, negative one from COVID-19, we can get it out to other road. So when we can take the get it out from other road, we can continue our dreams that we have planned in before. Test PCR is proved to in our society side. Because in our society side, it's like ministry and our president, as Joko Widodo has to cooperate with other country. It's like Turkey, and he stayed and he took about the test PCR. Why? Because in the emergency time, we should take the easy step and the quickly step. So that the quickly step one is to take the test PCR. If we take the vaccinated, it spends more time for us to continue. And so that from affirmative team, I state that I strongly believe with this motion, this house believe that the government should not obligate airplane passengers to be fully vaccinated if they are able to show a valid 24 hours PCR test result. So that for me, thank you for attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Okay, as the third speaker from affirmative team here, I would like to give you the summarize and also elaborating the first and second speaker argument. Okay, for the first, I would like to say that here we strong believe that this house believe that government should not obligate airplane passengers to be fully vaccinated if they are able to show a valid 24 hours PCR test result. Okay, for the first point, our first point that our first speaker states that the PCR has ensured the health of people. Why? Because the function of PCR is to detect that we are negative or positive COVID-19. But the function of vaccinated is to avoid the worst conditions when we contain the COVID-19. And here, because of that, we need a PCR. Why? Because when we wanna go to abroad and when we using the airplane, here we need PCR to show that we are active or we are positive or negative. We can't spread the COVID-19 to others. And then the PCR is very accurate and it was valid because the type of sample, accuracy of the sampling technique, transportation of sample to the laboratory, and standard operating procedures are operates and very correct. This was based on data. The Dr. Irham Shah says that the accuracy of PCR was 78 until 100. Here, we can see that the accuracy is very correct and appreciated. And then, my second speakers also thought that the COVID-19 is hard to get. The vaccinated is hard to get when we are go to abroad. because we have to go from one hospital to looking for the vaccinity, and the result also not when after we vaccination. That the function is not to detect that we are positive or negative, but just to decrease the worst conditions. Uh, and then the medics also state that after vaccinated, we will get the COVID-19. It's it's here the question rise up. How was if we were vaccinated, but when we go to abroad, when we using airplane, we also contaminant of COVID-19. So it's mean we will spread the COVID-19 to other people. And here, the airplane only don't want that the COVID-19 will spread there. Because that here the PCR is very help us to know that we are active or we are positive or negative COVID-19. And then the PCR can solve the problem of spreading COVID-19 because they show how was our healthy, and the PCR also very valid, and PCR has support by our government. That's in government that we have to use the PCRs when you gonna go to everywhere. That's we can only give our PCR to prove that we are positive or negative COVID-19. I think that's all for me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.